Hey guys, how's everybody doing? Right on. Hey, sorry I haven't posted anything in a while. I started that YouTube channel, or this YouTube channel, with the idea that I was going to be posting a lot more on a lot more regular basis than I have been. But all of a sudden summer hit, the car show season's in full swing, and I've just been swamped, working the weekends and then coming back and just pounding out stuff through the week. I should have been maybe just setting up a camera in the corner and just time-lapsing stuff, and then I could voice over later on. But anyways, I'm back. It's been bugging me. I just checked. I've got over 200 subscribers. That's awesome, guys. I wasn't expecting really much of anything. Just giving it a shot. So that's really cool. What I'm going to do today, what I'm going to start doing today, is I'm going to work on the one-stroke letter style. Or some people call it single stroke. We used to call it flash when I first started out with Butch. That was what we always referred to it. Hey, just do that sign or do that truck. Just hit it with some flash. It was really, because this is a really quick letter style. It's something that's very versatile to use on a multitude of instances. So it's a good thing to have in your arsenal. And it's fairly easy to learn, but it does take a lot of practice, just like everything else does. So I'm going to set up some paper on the wall here, get my brushes out, some paint out and whatnot. I'm going to break this up into about 5 or 6 different parts. Reason for that is I'm just going to go through some of the preliminary, the strokes that you need to know. Then from there, I'm going to work on just going from, say, A to D, maybe E. Some of the letters have different variations to them that you can use. You can interchange, because it can be a real funky, cool looking font to use. You can jazz it up a bit by adding some of these variations to some of the strokes that make up the letters. We'll give it a shot. At the end, I'm going to do some of the ampersands, the dollar sign, do the numbers, and I'll start doing some words too, just trying to show some of the use of the variations and whatnot. Give it a shot, see what happens, okay? So let's go over here, get some paper cut. There you go. Get rid of you. So I've just got some 30-inch wide or 36-inch wide. Get you out of there. I'm not going to need much paper to do this here. And I'm going to cut this square. I could just rip off a piece, but I like to cut the paper square all the time. It just gives me a true edge, keeps things neat. Back. And then over there we're going next. So and I'll get this out of the way. Now I could put some thumbtacks in there, but you know how to go. The tacks will probably just fall out partway through what I'm showing you. That'll be my luck. So you're going to want a letter at a nice comfortable height. Not down here obviously, unless you can sit down, but eye height right there. So this is where I'm going to throw a couple of lines right through here. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to split this in half. go. I'm going to do it with a pencil. Okay, so from the top of the page, I come down, I don't know, 1.5 inches, and maybe to about 4. So that'll give us 2.5 inch letter style height. I'm going to go larger. I'm going to go a little bit larger. Just makes it easier for you guys to see. So I'm going to give it a 3-inch height. 4.5. Okay guys, you can see what I just did a little lettering down here just to start this off. And I used 2 different sizes of brushes. This is the MAC 189, this is a number 4. This one is a Luco. I have no idea what number it is. I've had it for a long time and I've wore off the whatever the number was on it. It's probably a 10. I'm going to say it's a 10, perhaps a 12. Anyways, so same height of lettering, and I could do a real heavy, bold 1-stroke with this, no, I'm going to call it a number 12, with this number 12, or I did a light version of the 1-stroke with this number 4. Also, you can do another variant with this number 4, and I'll show that right here now. And I know that was kind of far away. I'm going to zoom in on this afterwards, and when I start to do some of the other lettering that I want to show you, and some of the rest of this, I'm going to zoom in on it a bit. But I'm just going to show you this part here. And you can also do kind of a thick and a thin style of this 1-stroke. So I'm going to show that right here, and this should be close enough. So you can do a combination of the two here. And although I'm calling it single stroke, there are this is going to take multiple strokes to achieve this. Well, let's say for instance the letter E. I'm going to double up the width on this. For your vertical, but your horizontal, I'm going to just leave it with a thinner stroke. So this would give you more of a, I guess, a Roman version of this one stroke. I think here you can see it's a heavier vertical, lighter horizontal. You know, you would do the same thing, let's say with the R. Let's do that one. I'm going to double up on the vertical stroke. And then where the thick and thin comes in, this upstroke is going to be thin. Then I'm going to double up on that stroke. And these are some of the variants that I was talking about. So here you can go thick to a thin, have it wide and then end narrow, and that's a pretty neat effect. So that's something you can do. That's a variant of the two. Now you would have seen when I started this off, I drew some slanted lines all the way through here, and that was to keep this consistent all the way through. Nothing looks worse than seeing one stroke, single stroke, flash, lettering, however you want to term it, to see it and it's all different all the way through. You know, it starts out kind of consistent at the beginning of a word, and then it gradually it's laying down on its side, you know, or it's back and forth, and it makes it difficult to read. And if you can just keep that consistently at the same angle, you know, so if you can just draw some random lines there to help you along, then that's going to, you know, it's going to assist you, and it's going to make it look nice. It's going to make it look professional. So one of the first things I want to talk about, and while I've got you right here, I might as well do this right in this area right now, and then we'll move on to start to do the A's, the B's, the C's, and whatnot. But one of the first things, the vital things to start with, is just practicing this vertical stroke multiple times. You know, so I'm going to get the other brush, the number 12 here. I'm going to load up. Palette, I palette a lot in between almost every stroke. I palette, and then come down, twist, and snap. So basically you're going to want to start with the top left corner when you chisel this brush. You get a nice chisel. You're going to want to start with that top left, get that in position. Bring it in slightly, lay it down, and then twist at the end. And I go in and I clean it up sometimes a little bit. Now if you're going to start doing this and you want to, you know, get into the practicing, this is something that you practice all the way across. You start at one side, bring it all the way across, and just continually bring those lines, using those ghost lines, that slanted line that you've using there for assistance, and keeping that consistency. And I hope it's not going to confuse anyone. I'm using my left hand. I'll keep on saying that in all my videos, and I'm not using a maul stick. That's not going to change. I've been doing it this way for 30 years. And I'm running out of paint here, so it's going to show up a little dry. Thought I had enough in the cup there. So I'm going to stop this for a second, go load up some more paint in my cup here, and I'll be right back. Okay, and I'm back. So again, top left gets laid in, pull it down, twist out to the bottom right. So I'm going to get the other brush, the smaller number 4, show you the same thing. Got my bloody palette is at the other end there. I should move it over closer, but I'm just going to show you these last little lines here. So again, and I'm holding the brush. Here's another thing too. Try and hold it back as far as possible. You hold it up here and you don't get as much control. When you got it back here, you've got far more movement when you're holding your brush further back. And then snap. Oops. Come on. All of a sudden I'm losing hairs out of this thing. So there we go. You can see I've actually lost some of my consistency here, right in this area here, when I was starting out with that fatter brush. Okay, here I just want to show what the vertical and the horizontal lines, strokes, look like, should try to look like. Okay, here we go. Reposition the camera. I'm hoping this is going to be a better angle. I zoomed in a bit, and let's hope that I don't get in the way of the shot too much. So I'm just going to palette up. I'm going to start with the letter A. Start at the beginning. And I'm going to show you a couple of standard one-stroke letters. A, the letter A, a couple samples of that using the number 12 brush. Then we'll go to the number 4 brush, and from there I'll show you some variants of the A that you can use in certain cases. So here we go. I don't know why, but I really like painting the letter A in a single stroke. So there's a couple of bold versions of the single stroke. Single stroke, left-handed, no maul stick. And now we're going to go to the light version. So there you are, your bold, your light. Now what would be the thick and thin? I'll give you one of those examples right here. So this stroke would remain thin. Oops. That stroke we're going to double up. And then the vertical is going to stay thin. Or sorry, the horizontal is going to stay thin. So here, let's do another one of those. And then I'm going to move the camera down a little bit and show some variations of the letter A. Doubled up on the stroke. There we go for that. Okay, so we're going to pause, reposition the camera down here a little further, show you some variations. Okay, we're back, and I'm going to start doing some variations here of the letter A. Now the variations, I want you guys to understand that these are primarily to be used at the beginning of a word, really to emphasize primary copy. When you're putting a title using this this casual flash, one stroke, single stroke. Geez, that's too long of a name. Anyways, you use it for the first letter of some main copy. If you're doing multiple bulletin style copy or just secondary copy, you wouldn't use these variations in that too much. Occasionally, but generally no. So here we're going to start with the A, with one of the variations. And I'm going bold here. And these are just simple variations. But for instance, you're going to come right through the stroke to the other side. Now, that's a variation. Or you can come all the way straight through it, through the whole letter. Something like that. You know, that's another variation. Or you can do bear with me here. Instead of going straight across, you can come down on an angle. This can be used part way through a word, you know, something like this. These ones you got to be careful because you don't want to be disrupting the next letter, taking up too much negative space. That's why you wouldn't use it in the middle sometimes, because when you're extending some of these strokes, you don't want it to disrupt the balance. So another variation here. Snap. Okay, so here's the variation here. You know, something like that. Again, that would be at the beginning of a word, first letter of the word. You wouldn't use that part way. And sometimes what you can do is make this, if you've got the whole line, if you capital your first letter is even actually taller than the rest of the title word, then it gives it more emphasis. So that's for the. So all of these you can still do with the light version. Here I'll quickly do. I'll do one quick one here, and then I can get on to the B. I got to get this done and get it uploaded today. This is actually the next day. I ran out of battery, so I haven't. I didn't get to finish this all in one day. And this is going to probably be just on the edge of where you can see. I will pan the camera by it before I reposition. So I hope this is quieter too. I played the footage back already, brought it into post, and I had some background noise, and I think that was the fan going in the background. So I hope this doesn't have any of that crap going on. So yeah, so what I left no space here. Well, we can just do this here again. You know, and that looks kind of neat. Just a little bit of a flare, a little jazz it up just a bit there. So here, I'm going to try to just without disrupting. Oh no, that showed up. Okay, cool. So we're going to pause, reposition, go on to the next letter. Okay, on to the letter B there, baby. So we're going to go bold, gain them. I'm going to follow my ghost lines here. They're guiding me for the vertical. And then I come up lightly, then twist around and up. There we go. Now here you can come back up again, but I like to start this way and pull back into the letter. And that's mostly because I'm left-handed. I know I joke around saying, oh, I'm left-handed and this is the left-handed way, but this letter style really, I think, works better for right-handed people. Now I'm going to come back around. Yeah, because I think if you're right-handed, you're able to pull a lot better this way. I think maybe this stroke might be a little more difficult, but if you're right-handed, obviously you're well adapted to using the brush that way. But I think a lot of these strokes are really better for right-handed people. The guy that taught me was right-handed, so it was difficult sometimes to figure out my way of doing it being left-handed. But I figured it out because I didn't give up. I wanted to be a sign painter really bad. There we go. Now I still can. I'm gonna come out of here just to show it anyways. Yeah, that one didn't come out just as nice, but I can clean it up a bit here. There, so now I'm going to show the light version. And back to pulling into the letter this way again. There we go. That's for the B. Let's have a look, see what I can see. Yeah, I'm just going to adjust just a bit here. Sorry for the shaking. Okay. Now I'm going to show that thick and thin version. So our vertical stripe, we're going to stroke rather, we're going to double up. And like I explained before with the R, so our upstroke is going to be single width, and then we're going to double up on the downstroke. Now this, you make sure you come up high enough that you leave room to double that up. I'm getting a little too high there, so you got to be really conscious of where you're bringing that prime, that first stroke there. And the nice thing with this letter style is if you do, I don't know, it's a fun letter style to use. So it's not like you're using a block letter style. Everything's got to be nice and straight and crisp, and you know, that's for a different use, right? That's gonna be better. Oh, I didn't double up on that downward stroke, did I? There we go. Okay. So that's good. So now the variants. I think I got room here to put two variations of the B, or at least one. I think I can show them all actually in one letter. I'm going to bring the camera just a little bit closer here. So apologize for the shaking, guys. And when I'm done all of this, I'll pan all the way across it, kind of slow, straight on, so that you get a better view of everything here. So, okay, so here's a bold B. So I'm gonna start with my first stroke just down a little farther. Usually I start right at the top line. This is gonna come down a bit. And this time I'm going to start over here, and I'm coming way past. And snap, there we go. So there's a little variant where just the top stroke comes past the vertical stroke. And if you wanted to do another variant to that, this bottom stroke, it can come past as well. There, like that. So there's a variant. And again, the first letter of some main copy is where you would use these types of variants. Okay, we're on to the letter C, and I've raised the paper up at the comfortable working height. Just got to work around the tripod here a bit. Okay, so we got to start in. We're going to lift it up, come around, and as we're coming around, you're twisting the brush, and all in one motion, we're going to come up and finish off the letter. Lift up on the brush a bit. And then we're going to come in, over, just down a bit, twist. There's a C. Let's do that again. Now I'm going to show you a variant here. Right here. I'm going to twist the other way though. Like that. And then I come in. So this one it's kind of curved in, this one it's curved out. And finish the top the same way. Like that. There we go. Nice. So let's go with the light version now. Same strokes, same method. And don't be shy if you got to come in and just clean up an edge. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. There we go. Yeah, it's supposed to be fun too, right? Enjoy yourself. And this one I'm gonna do that little variant there to finish it off. There. Now for the thick and thin version, using the number 4 brush again here. See, that vertical is doubled up. And then these ones are left being thin. These second strokes are thin. That primary stroke is doubled up. I don't think I need to do another one. You guys saw pretty much what I'm doing there on that. I'm just trying to cut time now so I can, like I say, get on to other stuff. I got a pack for a car show this weekend. Okay, so variants on the letter C. Not too many variants really, but I'll show you a couple things that come to mind. So we'll just do this as per usual. And you'll start to realize that the variants that on some of these letters, like the one I'm going to show you here right now, can be used on the letter F, the letter G. So all that is just, instead of coming in here, you just start up top here. That's all that is. Now you can also, I'm going to go with the light version here. Something I like to do is put a little bit of a, I'm not sure what I would call that, but it's just a little bit of an extra, geez, I don't know. It's like a marker stroke, you know, when you start the stroke. It's now and then, so you can also, you know, finish the C properly, like over here, or, you know, almost make it into a script type of a C. So that's a variation of the letter C. Same thing, you can add a little bit of extra on that. It's a great way to finish a tail. Sometimes I'll show you on some of the other letters too where that comes into play. The letter B up there, when that top stroke came across, you know, I'll just do that quickly right now, because I meant to show that actually. So I'm going to just backen up here a bit. Letter B. Come right across. So you can add right in here. Just doubles that up, beefs that up at the end there. It's just something to consider. Okay, on to the duh. Okay, for the D, it's pretty much the same as the letter B, just got to go down a little bit further, and the variants, I think you guys are probably going to be able to figure out what I'm going to do. Another one of my favorite letters for some reason, I'm not sure what it is. Again, keep it in mind, these ghost lines I've drawn in the background, using them to my advantage. And snap up. It looks like I'm shaking like crazy. That's because I am. I think I drank too much coffee this morning. I know some people go, too much coffee? No such thing. Well, I'm afraid there is today. So now we're on to the light version of the duh. And I'm coming in, I'm following the letter, and then I'm turning. I'm just running my brush in there, turn in. Show this again. There we go, a couple of does. Okay, so there's that doubled up vertical stroke. I come in with a single stroke, come up a little bit higher, and then, whoops, come in off of there, kind of come almost straight for a little bit, then I come around. There we go. I'm just going to bring this up just a little bit more. There we go. There we go. So a bit of a thick and thin variation. So now we're on my, so we're going to go on to the adding in like the tops of the B's and that, if you can see here. Yeah, okay. So I've got the number 12 brush here. My first vertical stroke. I really thinned the paint down too much. The enamel on poster paper doesn't work quite as nicely as using poster paint. The one-shot poster paint works much better on this, but I don't have any red in poster paint. So okay, so here's, oh, I went up too high, damn it. Well, we'll fix that. Should have started that just a little bit lower, but not a big deal. So I'm going to come in, flip that there. So there's a variant, right? And then from that you can also come in, put that little bit of that extra tail there, beef that up. Another thing is, so I'm just going to start a little bit below, and I'm going to end it a little early too. I'm not going quite top to bottom with the stroke. Finish that way, and then this one we're going to go right past. There we go. So there's that. Now you can also come in, and where that stroke is up at the top, you can just add just a little bit of what would be the top of that stroke sometimes. You know, it just adds a little bit of character to some of these letters. Jazzes them up just a little bit, you know. That's all that it is. Can you see for me to do the thin one here? No, I'm just going to slightly reposition right there. I'll just do a thin version. Probably don't have to. I think by now you guys are getting where I'm going with some of this stuff, but I'll do it anyways because I said I would. That. The thin version really looks good with the light version, with those added little tails there, and even coming up just on top there. I think that the light version really works well with some of these variants. So there's that. There's the D. We got time to do the E and the F. Let's do that. Okay, repositioned, papers raised up. We're going to go on to the E. And start off with the number 12 here, bold version. Now, being left-handed, I tend to start from this side and pull to my left. Like that with it. That's the quickest way to finish off that letter. And it has a slight arc to it, you know. Like that. So that's the one way to do that. Now there's another way. Start with the same vertical stroke, but then I'm going to come up the letter across, and then I'm going to come around like that. Now the difference between, I'll finish off the whole letter. See, I can come this way, down, cross, over, and just finish that last little bit there. And the same for the center stroke. I'll come up, roll around, finish like that. So the difference is the end here of these strokes are all kind of consistent with the letter. These ones are finished kind of on an opposite angle to that stroke. Still looks fine either way, I think. You know, it doesn't. It's up to you. Whatever you have a personal preference to do. I think here in this case. So onto the light version of the E. You know, when you're doing a lot of copy, which this is great for, these shortcuts, because I'm left-handed, where I can just pull that in one stroke as opposed to coming down, across, around, and all that, you know. If I can just get in there, bang it off, single stroke basically, you know, which is the whole purpose of this exercise and of this font, letter style, whatever you want to call it. You know, makes it just go quicker. And I'm speaking again from a job standpoint. You know, this is my business, so that's why I give those recommendations. So here's a variant. Instead of going in the center, bring it down real low, and it looks pretty cool. There's a variant. I can show you a variant right here on this one. Instead of stopping right there, you can bring it through a bit. You know, there's a variant. We'll do the thick and thin here. This you can do sometimes in the center of a letter. If it's next to the letter C, you've got some, I guess you probably can't see up there, C up there. You know, you can fill some of the negative space just a bit by going past there. Some of these letters you can use in the middle of a word. Some of them I don't recommend using the variants for that. Okay, so the thick and thin version here. Oops. Doubled up vertical stroke. That's a little short. There we go. You know, you can go a little high with it as well. You know, that looks cool. And then, you know, and on this too, you can add that little bit of that that marker tip, I guess I'll call that. That little added piece, you know, like I did on the C and the B there. You can add that up in there too sometimes. That looks cool. You know, especially if you got a word with a pair of E's, like the word street or something, you know. That would look cool if you had both the E's done the same way like that. Okay, so that was the E, your bold, your light, and then your thick and thin. So what I'm going to show you now is a couple variants of the E. So we're going to start just below the top line, come down to the bottom. And we're going to go right over top of it. Come on. So there's that. Now you can also put just a regular stroke in there across the, let's do one across the bottom here, towards the bottom. There, like that. I'll show you another version here. Just below the top line, coming down, finish. All the way across. So here's a variant I love to do. Put the little flame flicker in here. Like that. I use that a lot. So, and I showed you, you know, where you could cross right straight through that stroke. You don't want all three of them going through though. That's all three of your horizontal lines going through, because that's just going to totally mess up that letter and make it look like something it's not. So, I'll do a light version quickly. on past. And here I'm going to put that marker tip at the beginning of that stroke there. No, I wouldn't do it at both ends. You don't, you want it at one or the other. Well, who wants me? Leave a message. Okay, so let's go on to the letter F. Okay, so I don't know if it's really necessary to show the F. Basically showed you this. Everything's the same as the E, just minus one stroke. But let's do it anyways, okay? There. If you're getting that flicker at the bottom there, if you're laying your brush down too flat and trying to snap it off, it's not going to give you the same result as if you can get it kind of coming up and lifting out and snapping. And wait, did I hit record? Yeah, I did. So there's the bold F. There, look at that one finished nice. And here, so I'm going to show you a variant here while we're here right now. I'll put that flame flicker in there, like that. Light version. That's finished there. That one finished nice. Of course, it's like anything. The more you paint, the more you practice, the more brush control you get. So I'm going to do a thick and thin one here. I basically already showed you a lot of this during the letter E, so I don't have to show you multiple examples of the same thing here. But I'm just going to show you the thick and thin version, which is really just this vertical stroke gets doubled up. That's all there is on this one. I'm going to put that marker tip on here. And there we go. There's an F. Thick and thin. A couple variants. Okay, we've shifted down. I'm going to show you. Basically, it's the same as the E. Or yeah, the E. I'll just do it. Just so we have an example again. Just go over the same thing. Start just below the top line. Snap. And then right across. I'm going to come back in and bring that top around. There we go. You know, let's throw a little flame flicker in there. Okay. We're done for A to F. Hope this has helped out. Leave me some comments. I would appreciate anything. If you got any questions, you can either just comment them or you can email me undermywheels@hotmail.com. But you can find that through my through the page, the channel, anyways. But I'm just going to give you a quick little pass by here. Everything I'm going to try and hold it steady and go slow. So here's where we started with our A's. Some variants on the A's. The B's. I don't have to tell you what the letters are. If you can't tell what the letters are, then you're in the wrong biz. And there we go. So that was that. Okay, thanks a lot, guys. I gotta go pack, and next week I will come out with the next installment here, part 2. Okay, over and out. Have a good one, guys.